Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I noticed there are lots of viewers or couple of viewers since the last video. Just to say welcome. If you're new to this channel, there are lots and lots of content for you to binge watch, indulge in, get conversant with my content, and I see or try to see where the little lady behind the screen is coming from or who the little lady behind the screen is. And to my old viewers, welcome as well. There are lots of content to watch for you guys as well. I do have a playlist on this channel, several playlists actually, where I've been able to separate the videos or divide the videos for you guys to different segments like personal development, growth, food, fashion history, you know, all of that. Just give it a listen. I also have playlists, musical playlists, where I get to share with you guys what I'm listening, what I've been watching with you guys, topic of the week and quotes of the week for my new viewers. These are what I get to share with you guys every week. So if you have a different opinion, you have a different suggestion or a topic idea, please feel free to leave it on any of my video, the comment section, and I'll try my possible best to get to it. But anyways guys, for this week I would love for us to share on some weird things we all do secretly. I know you watching this video right now, you are so quick to argue with me like, oh no, I'm not weird or I'm not guilty of some. Just sit back and hear what I have to say before we rush into that conclusion. But if you relate to anything I have to say today, don't worry, your secret is safe with me and the whole of the comment section. But anyways guys, let's get right into today's video. Anyways guys, as I said earlier on, I said we'll be touching on some weird things we all secretly do, and the first on my list would be when you rehearse arguments in your head. Guys, I'm guilty of this personally. I'll say personally for me, when I just finished arguing with someone and I'm still, the anger is fresh and I'm taking my bath. It always happens to me when I'm taking my bath in the shower, and maybe the anger is so fresh and perhaps I just didn't want to play music. Sometimes I could even be listening to music, but then because like I said the anger is fresh, I'll just be in my head thinking of different comebacks, you know, playing the scenario over and over with different ways at which I approach the argument, you know, how I say my comebacks and the rest. You know, it just sounds better in your head, you know. Sometimes you even get to see a different perspective that both of you even didn't get to see, you know. Sometimes you even get as far as seeing or coming to the understanding of some things that if you had said at that point in time when you saw the argument, everywhere would have been quiet, or you would have had the last say. You know, you just got through so many things in your head that sometimes when I catch myself, I'm just like, you know what, it was never that serious. Another time I do catch myself rehearsing arguments in my head is, it could be a scenario where perhaps I'm watching a movie and two people are arguing and I happen to have a comeback for one of the party, you know. Let's say I put myself in the shoes of person A and person B, and I happen to have a comeback for person A or person B. Sometimes it just takes me to this realm where I'm lost in my head, in my imagination, in my thoughts, where I'm thinking, okay, let's say there's an argument with so person. Most times, in fact all the times, there's never a clear picture of whoever it is I'm arguing with. In my Dululo mind I'm just arguing with someone and I will just have lots of comebacks, you know. There are so many scenarios in my head where sometimes it could be so dramatic, things that I would not even do on a normal day, and when I catch myself, it's just like, that's so silly, you know. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's like, it's never that serious. But anyways guys, if you're guilty of this, don't worry, feel free, you're not so bad. I'm also guilty of that. Let me know in the comment section if you're also guilty of this or if you're not. The next would be when you hold your breath when walking past someone or when someone is walking past you. I don't know how to explain this. This is not discrimination or going and walking and saying, oh, this person smells, this person doesn't smell. I don't know what it is guys, but sometimes, because I'm once more, I'm guilty of this. I'm also guilty of it in the sense that when I'm passing a place, a person, group of people, or vice versa, you know, sometimes if you just get the vibe, you know, to me I'll say it's a vibe. If I just get the vibe that, you know, whatever it is not going to be pleasant, sometimes I could just hold my breath and I go as far as, let's say for example, is someone passing, group of people, it could be animal, it could be anything. I could hold my breath so long that the person must have passed to a significant difference, and then I still hold my breath for some few minutes, because it's like when someone passes by, let's say perfume for example, someone passes by, even if the person is at a considerable distance, depending on how sweet and strong the perfume is, sometimes when you release your breath you can still catch a little bit of that fragrance, odor, aroma, whatever it is. So me, I even go as far as, let's say for example, the normal seconds minute is 1 minute. I could do 1 minute 30 seconds just for that extra extraness, especially if I know that perhaps the environment or whatever it is unpleasant. Don't worry, I could practice holding my breath like I'm in a competition, just so I don't get to perceive anything. And I'm not guilty of this alone. So if you are, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. And if you don't, also let us know your point of view. What is your perspective? Because I feel like sometimes it doesn't even necessarily has to be a body odor or the environment, because sometimes it could be animals, like I said. Sometimes it could just be a particular area that doesn't have a good smell. Sometimes it's just because, you know, it's just what your mind or your head is telling you. So if you're not guilty of this, also let us know in the comment section, what are those moments where someone walks past you, an animal, or you walk past a certain environment and it stinks so bad? What is it like for you? Because I'm willing to hold my breath, guys, like to the extent that it's like, okay, I'm telling myself, okay, you're going to go crazy or you're going to die before I let my breath out. But anyways, guys, yes, let's move into the next one. So the next one on my list would be talking to yourself and replying back. This, I am also guilty of this. Perhaps I'm just a very weird person, who knows? But talking to yourself and answering back, this happens to me on just very few occasions. Perhaps maybe I'm rushing or I'm trying to do something and it's like, perhaps I forgot where I dropped my phone, for example. Lessons, where on earth did I drop my phone? Where could I drop my phone? I could tell myself, you know, if you were that smart, or if you claim to be that smart, then you will not leave your phone carelessly. You know, there are just some certain comebacks I have for myself, and it's like, are you okay in the head? You know? There are certain things you do or say or act or how you move and behave. You can't just help it but to ask yourself, are you even okay? But yeah, I'm also guilty of that, talking back to yourself or talking and answering yourself back, because sometimes you can just find yourself doing some of the most dumbest, silliest, craziest, most stupid things you could ever think of. And in those moments, you can't help but reply yourself back, because like, what are you even thinking, you know? So yeah, that as well. The next would be checking behind the shower curtains just in case. I don't know if you guys are guilty of this. You know, when you've watched a scary movie, if you're someone like me that sometimes when you watch a scary movie, it's like, okay, every other thing after that is scary. Or if you're scared of darkness, you know, or if you're just a fearful person, because we do have people like that. If you're someone like that, you tend to check behind the curtains when taking your bath. I've heard of that, but personally speaking, I haven't done that, in the sense that I've never stayed in a house where the bathroom has a shower curtain. But what I would say I do is, because I say I always listen to music when I take my bath, I don't know, for some weird reason, each time when I'm taking my bath, or most times when I'm taking my bath, it just so happens that it's like I'm hearing a door open and close, and I know for a fact that no door should open and close, or what is going on. Sometimes I could do, hey Siri. You know, when you say hey Siri, the music goes silent or it reduces significantly low for Siri to get what you have to say or something. So that few seconds when I say hey Siri, I could just settle down and listen, pay attention to the environment. Or sometimes I could even say hey Siri to pause the music, and then I could just, you know, try to listen. There will be no sound. The music is back on. For some weird reason, you hear the sound of the door open again. This is me personally speaking, and it's like, okay, you know what? If someone is in the house, just come attack me. So I will rest, even though I know someone is not at home. It's just really crazy, especially when you're listening to music. I don't know if this happens to anyone else. I am someone who loves to listen to music on the highest volume, loudest volume, on whichever speaker it is. So let's say I'm having an AirPod, I'm listening to song, guys. For some weird reason, after a particular period of time, I do have to pause the music just in case something crazy is happening in this world, and for some weird reason I'm not aware of that. Sometimes maybe I must have paused my music up to 3 times, 3 good times, and then I ask myself, like, why is it that is when you're listening to songs that something is bound to happen, but you've been without AirPod or without loud music, and nothing has happened, you know, for the last 1 week, 1 year, nothing has happened. Why is it now when you're listening to song? But for some reason, I can't talk myself out of that fear, especially when I'm alone at home. After a little while, when I listen to song, I have to pause it, remove the AirPod, sit down for a little while, pay attention to the environment, if everybody is still quiet or not. There are some times where I could hear a specific sound where I have to listen to the song and maybe take it 10 seconds back or 20 seconds back to be sure it's coming from the song, or pause it to make sure if it's coming from the environment or something. So when I happen to have that occurrence more than 1 or 2 times, that's when I'll pause the song for a little while and, you know, just chill to listen to my environment in case someone is there or not. And it's just crazy. I know it's really crazy hearing me say this, but guys, this is real life. These are some of the things I'm guilty of, because I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm such a fearful person, but I do fear to some extent. So yeah, when it comes to listening to music, I feel like that's like a life hack, because the kind of series and movies I watch do not even help me. I'm someone who, when I'm coming to the door, let's say I will go outside to do one thing or the other, and I'm coming back, I already have my key ready, so that when I get to the door, it's just to insert it and open it. Perhaps let's say is that I have my torchlight on before I go, because of the music, because of the kind of series, movies, the kind of things I watch, how I see people operate, like serial killers and certain things, guys. If I tell you guys how I function, just where that's why I was like, you know what, today let's touch on some of the way things we secretly do. But guys, I'm really sorry about the ambulance sound. It seems for the last 2 weeks, anytime I'm ready to make a video, for the last 2 years actually, my neighbors upstairs, they always have a sound to make. They are going out, they are coming in. These days is ambulance. So I'm sorry for the noise. If you guys happen to hear any ambulance noise, it's beyond my control. But anyways, let's move into the next point. The next on my list would be making up scenarios in your head. If there's an award for something like this, guys, I feel like I should be the most awarded in stuff like this. And I've read somewhere where it says people who daydream or something along that line, that they have some issues. I don't know. I don't care about the issues. But for me, I always do make up scenarios in my head, guys. It could be maybe on a road drive, it could be at home, it could be listening to song, it could just be anytime, just about any time. And guys, I could just start making up a scenario in my head. Sometimes I mean like a movie, you know, Hollywood movie. Sometimes it's even like a box office movie in my head, just my life. And when I come back to myself, it's just like, oh my god. But then again, it's like I really wish it could come to pass. But when it comes to making up scenarios in your head, guys, extravagant, fantasy, you know, unbelievable, unimaginable I do have a PhD, I do have a degree in making up scenarios in my head. And I know 1 or 2 of you guys are also guilty of this. So if you are, let me know in the comment section. But I don't want anyone to come and diagnose me or tell me anything. Don't worry. If something is wrong with me, I like it like that. I do love to make up scenarios in my head. And again, also, this is to just buttress the point that they say if you don't see it, you can't be it, you know. So I love to make up scenarios in my head, because life is even more beautiful in that aspect, you know. Things that you're not able to do in the physical, you can do it. The next would be reading a text 10 times and not replying. I'm not guilty of this, but if you are, actually, this is something I'm fascinated of, or fascinated about, or fascinated on. Let me know in the comment section if you're guilty of this. People who can read a text 10 times, and because they are too busy in their heads, they've replied in their head, you know, perhaps they're having a conversation with someone, their attention was divided. For some weird reason, you read a text 10 times, you end up not replying. And by the time you realize that you've not replied, maybe 10 business days have gone by, and it's like, rest in peace to that conversation. So if you're guilty of this, let me know, because I just feel like, even though, I don't know, let me not say what I don't know, saying that I am not guilty of this. I don't know what the experience is like. But I am someone who, if I read a text, even if I happen to reply in my head and I come to realize that I've not replied in those rare situations, I'll still have to go back and reply, you know, just apologize that something came up, I was busy, whatever the case may be. But if you're guilty of this, let me know in the comment section, because I try to put myself in the shoes, like, how do you read a message 10 times? You know, the phone is in your hand. Because I'm someone who tends to forget things. But if that should happen, when I keep my phone, I will always ask myself, you know, I picked my phone up for a reason. What did I pick my phone up for a reason? So I really, really would love to see what it's like for you guys who are able to read a particular text message, email, whatever it is, notification for a long time and end up not replying. And then the last on my list would be doing maths at checkout so you don't look broke. This is something that I am guilty of, or I was guilty of. I would say roughly 7-8 years ago, when I was still staying in the dormitory, I did have a friend where our school market already knew, the both of us, that our cards will always decline. And for some weird reason, I don't know why, both of us never had online banking. So we couldn't see our account balance. We only knew when money was deposited. You know, they must have told us from home that money has been deposited. We couldn't see our balance. We couldn't see the debits. We couldn't see the credits. We just knew that let's say, for example, a particular amount was deposited and perhaps we've gone shopping for a little while and then we'll start calculating, maybe this will be enough, maybe this will not be enough. Because we are not sure, we'll go to the market, because of course we are hungry and we need things. We'll go to the market and before checkout, we start calculating the items with us. Okay, this and this equals this. Are you sure? The last time we went to the market, so and it's just like, oh my god, where can I go to the market without always having to, over calculate, do maths and all of that. And sometimes you can be on your phone and it's like, catching up with something, you're forming busy or doing something, whereas in that phone you are in your calculator busy doing the maths. Now this is not to feel bad, this is just some of the weird things we do secretly. This is not saying it's bad, it's good, nothing about it, just pointing out some of the weird things we do. And this is something that is so funny that I feel like if I remind my friend, she's just going to laugh about it, because just crazy. It's just really fascinating how you could see us on our phones. You think, and sometimes you could be so serious in your face where people will be like, oh, this person is so serious, or business folk, they don't know that you're seriously doing your maths, 5 plus 10, 10 plus But yeah guys, I know this week's video is so short. I just wanted to touch on some of the weird things we do, shed some light, and to also hear from you guys, because I feel I don't hear a lot of talking from you guys, or your perspective and engagement. So I'd really love to hear from you guys. Are you guilty of this? Are you not? Those that you're guilty of, let us know your experience. And if you're not, also let us know a different perspective, especially when it comes to reading a text and not replying. I would really love to know the thought process behind that. So feel free to let me know in the comment section. But anyways guys, let's move into what I've been watching this week. Guys, what I've been watching this week, the first on my list would be The Gardener. This can be found on Netflix. I came across a post on X that was recommending this TV show or this TV series, and the story revolves around a boy and his mom, and they had an accident when he was 6 years old. The mom lost her leg and he lost every ability to feel emotion. So you couldn't be happy, you couldn't be sad, you couldn't be angry, you couldn't be moody, whatever it is, any mood, you couldn't experience it. And because of that, the mom took advantage of that, because she was into sex work before that accident happened. So after that, I think she could no longer involve or indulge in the sex work, so she started collecting jobs, hire for kill, where people pay her to kill people, and it's her son who does the killing, where he goes to track them, stalk them, and eventually kills them. And he's someone who is into plants, he's someone who has a garden, and he uses the dead body as a manure for the soil. And he says, according to him, I don't know if this is a research or just about the movie or TV show, he said how beautiful a flower comes out, how beautiful and healthy a plant comes out is all on the manure, and the manure is human being, that is a decomposing body. So once he kills them or murders them, he leaves their property well kept in wherever he meets them, at the beach, on the road, wherever it is he happens to find them, and then he goes to bury them underneath his plants or his flowers, his whole garden and the rest. So he has a really beautiful garden, but if you think, or if you have the full picture, he's also so sick. And then come to find out that a woman wanted a lady dead, so she contracted the boy's mom, and by now the boy has grown into a guy. So it so happens that on the job, while he's trying to, see who this person is, where she goes to, and how to stalk her, because he doesn't just, go for the kill straight. He has to do it in a way where it doesn't come back to he or his mom. So it so happens that he fell in love, or he's beginning to develop some sort of attachment and emotion with a lady. Come to find out that he's able to feel emotion once more or once again, and it's like a threat to the mom. The mom is saying he has to stay away from the lady because she was contracted to kill the lady, and now the son is falling in love with the lady, and this is a client that has paid them the highest amount and is so generous. She's even willing to pay so much more just for the lady to be killed. And now that the boy is able to feel things, he's telling his mom he wants to feel things, he wants to explore. But they went to the hospital to check what is the problem. Come to find out that he has a benign tumor, and because of that, that's why his emotion is back. So the mom is saying they need to make a deal, because he's saying he's not going to kill the lady. The mom is saying, okay, fine, if he's not going to kill the lady, he's not going to ever see her again, and he's also going to go for his treatment for the tumor. And he's saying no, if the tumor is what is making him feel emotions, he doesn't want to get rid of it, and he's going to leave the lady. But come to realize that, of course, emotions are stronger, so he's like, he can't leave the lady. So now the mom is threatened because she feels like she's going to lose her son, and of course the job, the high-paying job as well. So it's just really, really bizarre and just really mind-boggling. I really want to see how it plays like, because the client is saying she's so generous. In fact, she's willing to pay double the amount just to let the lady die, because the lady, she believes the lady killed her son, whereas the lady is saying he committed self-exit, and the mom is refusing to accept that he committed self-exit. So it's really, really interesting, though I'm not done watching it, but so far it is really, really interesting. You should give it a watch if you haven't. The next on my list would be The Real Housewives of Potomac. This is a series that I never knew I could love a reality TV show like this. But yeah, Real Housewives of Potomac is just filled with so many interesting, fascinating characters. But currently I'm on season 5, and I must say, sometimes when human beings are, something is happening to someone and it's not making any sense, it makes me, or it leads me to believe that there's always more to it when someone is in a relationship and the relationship is not making sense, and you're trying to speak to a particular party, let's say the guy or the lady in the picture, for example, like, see what this person is doing or see how this person is treating you, and for some weird reason or bizarre reason they are not able to get it. I've been able to come to the understanding that I feel like in most cases there's always more to it, because a couple like, if you're watching it or if you've watched it, a couple like Michael and Ashley, this whole time everyone is seeing Michael as the bad guy, someone who is taking advantage of this young lady, someone who is this, who is that. But come to realize that these people have an understanding, and that is why he can sexually harass someone, and people are saying he didn't publicly apologize to his wife for putting her in that situation. He said he cannot apologize because he did nothing wrong. She too, she says he is not to apologize to her because he did nothing wrong. And to you, the viewer, or to you, an outsider, it's like you're losing your mind. Are you losing your mind? Do you not know what you're saying? It leaves you thinking you're crazy. Come to realize that they do have an understanding that is not the normal understanding, and because the party is not saying it, it leaves you like you're the crazy person, whereas the person knows exactly what is going on. So yeah, this Real Housewives of Potomac, it just really opens you to how people behave, money or no money, because most times you always feel like money is the beginning and the end. When you have money, this is not when you're... But you come to realize that people who have had money, not just have money, people who have been in money for so long, and you see how they are behaving, how they see life, it's really fascinating how human beings behave. But anyways, guys, give The Real Housewives of Potomac a watch. You're not going to regret it. The next on my list would be Dope Thief. This is a series, 2025 series, a recent series I started watching, but I'm currently on episode 2 or episode 3. I'm not so sure, but so far how it started, it revolves around the storyline of a group of 2 men who are posing as DEA, fake DEA, and raiding people's houses where they do meth, coke, they sell weed, all of that. And the fascinating thing is they bust all these houses, they don't arrest the people, they just carry the money, they don't even touch the products, and they keep it moving. So they keep doing it over and over and over. So eventually one of them suggested that they bring in a third person, because it's like the job is becoming too much for 2 people. The other party was like, no, no, no. Eventually he agreed, and their first job as the three of them, or three of them as partners, it went sideways. Like, three people died, one person got injured. Like, it's just from 0 to 100 basically. So that's where I stopped so far. So if you're giving it a watch, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, so I know if I continue or not, because I feel like it's a little bit slow. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm still in the starting, or I don't know. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? And if you haven't, give it a watch. It is also interesting. But what I've been listening to this week, for this week, there's been a number of new songs, like Selena Gomez's album. For the life of me, I don't even know the name of the album. I just happened to see one of the songs. I knew of the album, so I happened to see one of the songs on my YouTube page. I listened to one, loved it. Listened to the next one, I loved it. I was just listening to different, and after a while, it was like I no longer had time, and I just put it on pause. Well, I've been able to add some from the album I love, and yeah, and I'm not really being a fan of Selena Gomez. There are some of her songs that I was a fan of. Of course, if you watch Disney growing up, you'll be a fan of Selena Gomez, or you know Selena Gomez. But yeah, aside that, I've not really been a fan of her music side. I would say maybe one or two of her music that was so popular back in the day. Yeah, I was a huge fan of that. And for some reason, I just, stopped listening to her songs. I don't know why. So I'm happy that YouTube recommended her songs, because there are a number of songs on the album that I really do love, especially for someone who is not really a fan of love songs, breakup songs and all of that. It's really interesting, actually some cool, nice jam. I've added it to my playlist titled V Blues, from Miley Cyrus as well, End of the World, and one other one as well. I can't remember, but just give it a listen. V Blues, you're going to find all the songs and the new ones. And then for my African songs, the new would be Mokutu by Ricardo Banks. This is an artist from Nigeria. I'm a huge fan of Ricardo Banks, and this is also a very cool, nice jam. I added it to Victoria's playlist. And then the next would be 𝐸𝐴𝐶 6 a.m. by 𝐸𝐴𝐶 something. I can't remember the name, but I think this is a South African, if I'm not mistaken, South African artist. I'm not so sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, these are two songs, especially this 𝐸𝐴𝐶 6 a.m. This is a song that has really been a fave for me this week. That song has been on repeat non-stop. So if you haven't given it a listen, check it out. I found it on TikTok, and I've been waiting for the release. And one day I just so happened to enter TikTok, and someone was also asking, and they was like, it's released on Apple Music. I went there, and truly he did not disappoint. The snippets on TikTok really elevate your mood. It's like, this is a jam. Because sometimes when you hear certain songs on TikTok and listen to the full song, it's not matching the hype and the buzz around it. But this is a song that lived up to its hype. So if you've not given it a listen, check it out. This as well, I added them to Victoria's playlist. And don't forget, I also have the gospel playlist as well. So if you're like Victoria's playlist and V Blues, not for me, don't worry, I do have the gospel playlist. And if you have any other songs you want to recommend, or you love for me to get in, maybe artists for example, please feel free to let me know in the comment section, and perhaps I also get to come to love your songs, your artists, your idols, join your fan base. Whatever the case may be, just check it out. The Victoria's playlist is for every and any African songs I personally listen to. V Blues is for the international songs, and gospel songs is for every gospel songs that I listen to, I relate to, and just check them out. You're not going to regret it. But anyways, guys, let's move into our quote for this week. What's our quote for this week? So guys, our quote for this week is titled "Don't Take It Personally," and it goes, whatever happens around you, don't take it personal. Nothing other people do is because of you, it is because of themselves. Even when a situation seems so personal, it has nothing to do with you. What they say, what they do, and the opinions they give are projections of their own internal thoughts. Everyone has their own reality. When we take something personally, we make the assumption that they know what is in our reality, and we try to impose our reality onto theirs. When we don't take things personally, it gives us more power over our thoughts, feelings, and actions. When we don't take things personally, we recognize the individuality of others, and we can accept that other people are different from us. We have little control over how others view us and relate to us. we have more control over how we view ourselves and the situation and how we respond to it. The truth is, we tend to make assumptions and judgments about other people without knowing the full story. And more often than not, what we assume about a person is wrong. But anyways, guys, this is just to leave you guys with some words of encouragement. And yeah, guys, just to say thank you once more for joining me. And if you resonate with this video, please don't forget to like this video. If you haven't, like it, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section if you're guilty of any of the weird things I mentioned, what your perspective is, and some other weird things we do that I didn't get to touch on or didn't get to talk about. Feel free to let us know in the comment section. And as usual, guys, if you're feeling generous, please feel free to share on your social media platforms and tag me, and I would appreciate it. I'm going to leave my social media handle for you guys, so don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe, and thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week.